Hi, I'm Stacy Hyde, and I'm back with another edition of Better Financial Health in 15 minutes or less. And today I'd like to talk about something that's been in the news a lot lately, and that is inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is when goods and services cost more now than they used to. And some inflation is good, but when it picks up speed and becomes very, very high, then it almost acts as a disincentive to save and prepare for the future. It also means that someone who has a 3% or maybe even lower than that mortgage, now that is a very valuable asset because now mortgage rates are over 4%. While still that's a very low rate overall, it's certainly higher, and it will mean that more of your monthly payment is going to interest rather than reducing your principal. And it also means that your payment on the same price house is going to be higher because you're going to be paying more interest. So what does that mean longer term? Well, in some cases, a little bit of inflation can be good because you've got people that are retired and they have money in savings and they're hoping to earn a little bit of interest. As most everybody's aware right now, if you have money in the bank, you're really not earning much interest on that money. It's just sitting there. And so while having some interest come back is good, too much can really make it very expensive for business owners, for consumers to finance big ticket items. Also, it can be more expensive for a business to grow and to expand and build and be able to take the risk to grow their businesses. And as inflation goes higher and higher, it means that the money you're being paid for your work is buying less goods and services than it was before. And so then it becomes this cycle that is not very good. It means that the workers, because they can buy less with their paychecks, are demanding to make more money, which means that that's going to further push up prices. And so what we're seeing right now is the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates and trying to hit that sweet spot where rates are no longer encouraging people to go and buy and do more, while at the same time not pushing them up too high that it chokes off the economy and we can't continue to grow. That's also why we've seen prices in the stock market decline. I'll get more into that in the next episode, but I wanted to talk about what inflation means. And it also means that you're likely going to need to pay more attention to, if you had a home equity line of credit that has a floating rate loan, you might want to accelerate your payment of that before the interest rate starts creeping up more and more. So while it can be good to have interest rates not be at the very, very lowest rates, we do want to be careful because we don't want to wind up like in some countries, people will they get paid and inflation, inflation is so high that they immediately and go buy everything the second they get paid because they know if they wait just a few days, it's going to cost significantly more. I don't think we really have any risk of those types of inflation in this country, but it is interesting because we went for so long where the Federal Reserve was trying to push up inflation a little bit to where it really got out of hand. And it got out of hand because you had too many dollars chasing too few goods. And so it goes back to that economics class that if you went to college you often had to take, and you were sitting there going, what are you talking about? But it's where supply and demand hit equilibrium. And as wages go up and hopefully more people are encouraged to enter the workforce, we'll see more of an equilibrium there. We'll also see people who hopefully will have an opportunity maybe to upgrade their situation and get into a higher earning scenario that will help them forever. But in the meantime, if you are shopping for a house, shopping for a car, big ticket item, you definitely are going to need to spend a little more time looking for and comparing interest rates. For example, for cars, if you're buying a new car, oftentimes the dealership will offer the best rates because they want to finance the sale of more cars. If you're buying a used car, often credit unions have the lowest rate. So it's something to shop around for. And same thing with mortgages. If you think that you'll only be in the house for a few years, you may even want to look at some sort of adjustable rate. If you're going to be there a long time, while interest rates have gone up, they're still very, very low by historic standards. To give you an example, I bought my first house in the early 90s. Yes, I'm aging myself. And my interest rate was 10%. And my loan officer, who very shortly thereafter became my stepmother, told me how lucky I was to get that interest rate. So times have changed a lot and rates are still very low by historical norms, just not recent norms. And as we adjust to that, I think everything will be okay, but it does mean that we do need to pay a little more attention. And also, if you have credit card debt, those rates are likely to go up as well. So I'd really encourage you, just yet one more reason to avoid credit card debt. Thanks so much, and we hope you'll come back for another episode of Better Financial Health in 15 Minutes or Less. I'm Stacy Hyde.